Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, National Safety Council. New Hampshire is one of 13 states improving opioid fight. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jess Moran.
And I'm Patrick Hayes Jr.
And I'm Patrick Hayes Sr. My boys and I would like to help you protect your home forever with a new metal roof.
Forever Metal Roof Company.
The National Safety Council's new report lists New Hampshire as one of the 13 states improving in the fight against the opioid crisis.
We've been ranking and rating the states on actions they've taken, laws they've passed to help stem the tide of this epidemic that's killed far too many people.
The study identifies 6 actions states can take to address the epidemic, and the NSC says New Hampshire is doing 5 of the 6 recommendations.
The states that are hardest hit, that are losing the most people, have really doubled down on figuring out what are the evidence-based actions they can take in order to save lives of their fellow citizens.
As New Hampshire has one of the highest overdose rates in the country, the report is welcome news to those on the front line of the crisis.
The governor's been very proactive in leading the way and making sure that we, as a state, unify around the opioid crisis to get things done. So it's proof of that happening.
But it's clearly understood New Hampshire still has a long way to go.
I think the most important thing is that we see the funding that the president promised when he was here in New Hampshire just a week or so ago. I know our senatorial folks have been working very hard to make sure that those dollars flow through, not proportionally, but to states that really need the money the most.
Now, the only action New Hampshire did not get a check mark was data sharing. Some state officials are hoping a bill will pass the Senate allowing medical examiners access to the prescription data monitoring program to help review opioid deaths. Live in studio, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Five investigates IDs Troop E members flagged for review in overtime scandal. Five investigates has now identified 23 of the 30 Massachusetts State Police Troop E members flagged in an internal review for being paid overtime for shifts they may not have worked. Some members retired and others are suspended without pay as state police and the State Attorney General's office investigate possibly wrongdoing and potential criminal charges. Five investigates began investigating overtime in Troop E, the troop that patrols the Mass Pike in June 2017. They requested and then analyzed 9 months of state police overtime and payroll records and ticket data from 2016 for Special AIRE patrol targeting dangerous drivers and compared it with official ticket records filed with the Registry of Motor Vehicles. The first report aired on October 26 and focused on 4 lieutenants and 1 trooper who were paid for more than 100 of these special overtime shifts where no speeding tickets were written at all. In other cases, tickets submitted for overtime pay appeared to be written weeks earlier or during regular shifts. Days before the first story aired, state police began their own internal review of the 2016 overtime based on public record request made by 5 investigates. They also transferred the 4 lieutenants out of Troop E. Less than 2 weeks later, documents show Lieutenant John, Lieutenant Jack were allowed to retire and give honorable discharge. Major Terry, who was in charge of Troop E, retired in January. Terry has not been named as part of the investigation. On March 20, state police announced a female formal investigation into the overtime disparities and said 20 members of Troop E had been flagged for possibly abuse. That number grew to 30 members. The audit of 2016 Troop E overtime expanded to the full department, and the investigation grew to include Troop E, AIRE patrol overtime in 2015 and 2017. This week, Kerry and Governor Charlie Baker announced a plan for reform, which includes eliminating Troop E entirely and moving assigned personnel to other troops, while reformatting the duties of Patrol the Pike. GPS equipped in all marked cruisers will soon be activated so that vehicles can be tracked, and GPS will be added to all state police vehicles. According to state police, members of Troop E were suspended recently during duty state hearings, and others were given approval for retirement. While state police acknowledged evidence of overtime abuse by 30 members of Troop E, the initial and criminal investigations are not complete. It has been determined what potential and total overtime earnings may have involved the shifts in question. The 7 members of Troop E who are not being identified are still on active duty and have not yet appeared for initial duty status hearings. City Council repeals part of short-term rental ordinance. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Aaron Dixon.
Science feels nice, which is why
Yeah, Megan, it's back to the drawing board for at least part of this short-term rental ordinance that has divided the city for months.
I think that it would be in everybody's best interest to go back and say, let's take a second look at this.
The residents of South Portland forced to put policy aside tonight, instead talking about procedure and how the council would move forward on the topic of short-term rentals.
The city council can act to repeal those 2 ordinances, or the city council can act to send them to a referendum.
Nearly every single resident who spoke tonight expressing support for repealing and revisiting 2 amendments passed by the council in February.
I think that there's a great opportunity to strengthen this ordinance for all parties.
Saying that regardless of how they feel about the rentals, more work can be done to find compromise.
I'm in favor of you repealing it and at that point making some small changes. I don't think it needs a big overhaul.
Many residents saying they would rather not see the city divided more by putting the issue to referendum.
I feel if this is sent to a referendum, nobody is going to be happy. I don't think it's going to solve anything.
I trust each and every one of you. And if you think that not going to referendum is a better option, then I trust you and I respect you.
In the end, the council was unanimous.
All those in favor of the motion to repeal?
Voting to repeal and revisit the ordinance in workshop.
Ordinances are repealed.
And the city council did not pick a final date, but a workshop to revisit the ordinance could be held as early as April 24th or early May. Live in South Portland tonight, Erin Dixon, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. China ambassadors to U.S. We will take measures to fight back very soon. Speaking with CNBC, China's ambassadors to the United States said his country would strike back against U.S. trade measures very soon. Female suspect in YouTube shooting likely died of self-inflicted gunshot, police say. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
I finally feel comfortable being me. I work too hard on this body to let anything toxic tear it down, including tobacco. This body, my life, is non-toxic.
This free life, freedom to be tobacco-free.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Tom Yamas. We interrupt programming to bring you breaking news from out west, just outside of San Francisco, where there's been a shooting at YouTube headquarters. Police are calling this an active shooter situation. The FBI and the ATF are also on the scene. This is still very preliminary, but sources tell ABC News, and our station down there, KGO, is also reporting this. The shooter is believed to be a woman. San Bruno Police Chief Ed Barberini is about to start a news conference. Let's listen in.
Hi, my name's Ed Barberini.
Okay, and there you go on some of that video. If you want to watch that full video, we will share that video and that link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. The suspect in the shooting at YouTube's headquarters in California Bay Area is believed to be a woman found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, police said. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.